Have the literary criticism, I guess you could call it summative assignment, COVID edition. Super cool font, like this one. It's called Wireframe. Anyway, under normal circumstances, this would have been a group presentation project. But basically, what I need you to do to kind of just demonstrate to me that you understand literary criticisms and how they work, is to pick a story from this list here and write a paragraph response where you choose one or more of the criticisms to apply to that story. So basically, I want you to write me a brief little paragraph where you analyze one of these stories from one or more of the perspectives that we've gone, one or more of the criticisms that we've talked about this unit. Okay, so you choose one of the short stories you will choose. Let's just fix that. You will choose one of the 6 short stories on the sheet and produce a paragraph response that analyzes the story using one or more of the literary criticisms other than formalism. Since formalism is what you've done your whole high school career. So again, formalism, breaking it down into plot, etc., etc. That's the only thing you've done. So we want to move away from that here. So you're not allowed to use formalism. Your paragraph could focus deeply on one type of criticism, or it could look more quickly at a number of criticisms. Okay, and those are equally valid. It's not better to do one or the other. So don't worry too much about that. So in terms of the elements of this project, you have to submit one paragraph to me. Okay. So if the slideshow, you can go back and review those videos. If the slideshow for one of those criticisms included questions you could ask of the story, then try asking those questions of the story and consider the answers and consider including those answers as part of your paragraph response. I've given you a way you could possibly start it. I know some people have issues with how to possibly, just in case people have issues with how to actually start their response. So just something as simple as a short story blank by blank works well with blank criticism. And then you go on there to prove, to explain your analysis to me and prove that it does work well with that criticism. Always, always, always quotations, and I would think one or two at most in a paragraph, are an excellent way of proving that your analysis is solid and valid. Okay, we have a rubric on the next page here. It's very similar to the essay rubric with the rough work omitted. So we have 20 for each: knowledge, thinking, communication, and application. 20 marks for each of those. Organization and style are both communication, so they're combined into a mark of 40. Okay, your story choices are Celebration, which is a story of an old couple that fight a lot. Actually, they're not that old. A couple, poor couple that fight a lot. Harrison Bergeron is a short story by the very famous author Kurt Vonnegut. It takes place in the future where society is made equal through the use of handicaps, forced handicaps. The Handler is a story from the 1950s about a game show host who turns out to be sort of a robot operated by a different guy inside of him. The Interlopers is a story set in an indeterminate time period. It is about 2 wealthy families who have traditionally hunted on the same lands and are therefore rivals and enemies. Hills Like White Elephants is a famous short story by the very famous author Ernest Hemingway, and it basically involves a young couple having a conversation in a Spanish train station. And lastly, The Cask of Amontillado is a um, short story by the very famous author Edgar Allan Poe, where again we have a sort of rival situation where you have the 2 main characters. One is exacting revenge for an unsort of specified slight at some point, and he lures him into a trap using using the promise of tasting a really good wine. So anyway, those are your choices. I'm going to post them all to Slack. Please let me know by direct message which story you choose. I will keep track of that, and then after everyone's let me know, I will create channels for each story and add you to those channels so that if you want to discuss or if you have questions specific to those stories, then not everybody has to see those, and I can kind of hop into each channel and help you guys out with each story. Okay, so your job for today again is to um, is to not necessarily read all these, but peruse them maybe, Google them maybe, see which one you might be interested in. Choose one and let me know which one you choose. Okay? Now, the other thing I want to mention is this assignment will take quite some time. There's no rush here. I do not want to make you feel as though you're rushed at all with this project. So, this is what we will be doing for quite some time. At least this week. So again, I don't want you to stress. I know a lot of you are working a lot these days, so we are by no means in any rush here. Okay, so relax, get a cup of coffee if that's your jam, and look at these short stories and pick one to read. I'll talk to you later.